The air was cool and damp when Ryan, Emily, and Jason set up their tents deep inside the pinewood forest. They had driven for hours to escape the city, eager for a weekend of camping under the stars. The forest was quiet, almost too quiet, except for the rustle of leaves carried by the wind. As night fell, the three friends sat around the fire, roasting marshmallows and sharing ghost stories. "You know," Jason said with a grin, "they say people go missing here every year. Locals call it the Whispering Forest." He leaned closer to the firelight. "They say voices lure campers into the dark, and once you follow them, you never come back." Emily laughed nervously, trying to shake off the chill that ran down her spine. "Nice try, Jason. But we're not kids anymore." Still, she kept glancing over her shoulder, as if expecting to see someone watching them. Later that night, after the fire had died down, the forest grew unnervingly still. Ryan was the first to hear it. A faint whisper, almost like a child calling for help. "Did you hear that?" he asked, sitting upright in his sleeping bag. Emily unzipped her tent slightly. "It sounded like a voice." Jason laughed it off. "It's probably the wind." But then the whisper came again, clearer this time. "Help me. I'm lost." Against their better judgment, Ryan grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside. "Hello, who's there?" he called. The beam of light cut through the trees, but nothing moved. The whisper grew louder, now coming from deeper in the forest. "Ryan, don't," Emily whispered. But Ryan was already walking toward the sound, flashlight trembling in his hand. Jason followed, muttering curses under his breath, while Emily reluctantly trailed behind. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. The forest felt endless, as if it had swallowed them whole. Then Ryan stopped. His flashlight flickered, illuminating something between the trees. A figure standing perfectly still. "Hey, are you okay?" Ryan shouted. The figure didn't move. It was tall, its face pale, almost featureless, except for a dark gaping mouth. Slowly it tilted its head, and the whisper came again, but this time it was inside their heads. "Stay with me. Forever." Emily screamed, and Jason yanked her arm. "Run!" They sprinted back, branches whipping against their faces. But no matter which direction they ran, the forest looked the same. Endless shadows, endless trees. Behind them, the whisper followed, growing louder, overlapping like 100 voices chanting in unison. When they finally stumbled into their campsite, the fire was burning again, though none of them had lit it. Their tents were gone, replaced by 3 small mounds of freshly dug earth. Emily froze, realizing what she was looking at. Graves. Their graves. The whisper surrounded them, circling like the wind. Ryan dropped the flashlight, his face pale. We were never meant to leave. And as the fire hissed out, the forest swallowed their screams. It started as a dare. 4 college friends, Mark, Sarah, Daniel, and Claire, gathered in the abandoned church at the edge of town. Rumor said the church had been sealed off decades ago after a priest vanished during midnight mass. Mark carried an old, dust-covered book he had stolen from the university library's restricted section. Its leather cover was cracked, and strange symbols ran along the spine. He grinned as he dropped it on the floor. "Let's see if the stories are true," he whispered. The group lit candles, their flames flickering against the rotting walls. Sarah shifted nervously. "This feels wrong. We shouldn't be here." "Come on," Daniel said, smirking. "It's just a game." But when Mark opened the book, The air seemed to change, thicker, colder. The words were written in Latin, scrawled in ink so dark it looked like dried blood. He traced the ritual's instructions with his finger. Draw the crimson circle with salt. Place a personal item in the center. Speak the words, and the veil will open. Claire, trying to hide her fear, placed her silver necklace in the circle. The others followed, tossing in a lighter, a ring, and a bracelet. Mark began chanting the Latin verses, his voice shaky at first, then steadier. The candles sputtered. A low hum echoed through the church, vibrating the walls. The shadows stretched unnaturally, twisting into shapes that looked like clawed hands. "Mark, stop," Sarah said, her voice trembling. But Mark's eyes were glazed, as if he weren't himself anymore. He finished the final verse, and the ground inside the circle cracked open. A thick black smoke rose, curling like a serpent. From the smoke, something began to take shape. Tall, horned. Its eyes glowed red like embers. The air reeked of sulfur, and a voice, deep, layered, inhuman, rumbled through the church. "You called, and I have answered," Claire screamed. Daniel grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "This isn't real. This can't be real." The figure stepped forward, but though it moved, its feet never touched the ground. Its mouth stretched into a jagged grin. Payment must be made. The circle, meant to trap it, suddenly shattered. The salt line blew apart as if scattered by invisible hands. Mark dropped the book, finally realizing what he had unleashed. No, this wasn't supposed to happen. The demon's eyes locked onto each of them. One by one, their personal items inside the circle burst into flames. Claire clutched her chest as her necklace seared her skin. Daniel's lighter exploded in his pocket, igniting his shirt. Sarah collapsed, gasping for air, as if invisible hands were squeezing her throat. Mark tried to run, but the demon's shadow stretched across the floor, wrapping around his legs like chains. He fell, screaming, as the shadow dragged him into the darkness of the cracked earth. The last thing Sarah saw before her vision faded was the demon lifting the book, closing it with a snap. Then silence. By morning, the church was empty, except for 4 melted candles around a perfect circle of ash, and the book resting neatly in the center, waiting for the next curious soul. Did this story send chills down your spine? If you enjoy dark tales like this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next terrifying story. Share this video with a friend who dares to watch it at night, if they're brave enough. And tell me in the comments, would you ever join a ritual like this or run the other way? Your answers might just inspire the next horror story.